Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. I noticed that late last night we went over 49,000 subscribers, which is crazy. Honestly, that is crazy. We are flying towards 50,000 and we're probably going to get there before the end of the month. I did a video a couple of months ago and that was the target for the end of the year, and we're going to probably get there before the end of August. So look, thank you so much to all of you that have recently subscribed. Of course, the old school subscribers that are still around. A few of you have reached out to me and said, Ade, how have you got there so quick? We haven't got there quick. I mean, we started this channel 6 or 7 years ago. It's funny because I was watching some of my old videos I shot in Nigeria where we were getting like 100 views, 60 views, you know, like desperately trying to get 1,000 views, like desperately trying to do the first video to get 1,000. I can't remember what video it was. So look, it's been a long road, but it's nice that we are getting some sort of consistency with the videos. I feel like I'm uploading a bit more regularly now, especially when I can, when I'm not out the country. And I think that's it. I think, look, there's no magic formula. Just continually upload videos, upload content. Try and get a nice camera if you can. I haven't got a camera. I film with an iPhone. Use that. That's good. Try and get a mic. I always say to people, obviously, look, this is quite an expensive mic. This Shure mic is around, I got it second hand, I think around £250, and I think I got the stand for around 80 quid. So if you can afford that, get that. But if you can't, use the Boya M1. I think I've said this before, but it's like a plug-on mic that sticks into your phone and then you just put it on. And I think that cost me 15 quid because sometimes I do watch these videos and if the sound's a bit off, I'm like, yeah, I just don't like it. If the look's a bit off, I don't like it. So sometimes work on those two things. Try and get a nice little setup if you can, and try and sort your sound out. You don't really need light. I've got a big mirror there and that brings in enough light, and I've turned the lights on. That's all you need. What I don't think is a good idea, and I've had a few people reach out to me and ask this question, and this isn't a dig at you. I kind of see why you asked me the question because I do offer my help quite a lot. But a few people reached out to me and said, Ade, I've just started a channel. Can you shout me out? Don't work like that. That's almost too easy. Like, work for it a bit. I think you would appreciate it a bit more when you work for it. Like when the numbers come in and it's been through your just hard work, as opposed to just wanting someone that has some numbers just to shout you out so you can then get a few of their numbers. Yeah, like you guys know that I always reach out and say, look, and I do it, I don't know, a few times a year where I say like, send your channels over and I will shout them out. But yeah, I don't really respond to the send me an email and put your channel link and ask me to shout you out. Like I don't know who's got a big channel. There's a guy called Wade, good friend of mine, and he's a good friend of mine. I think he's got like 300,000 subscribers. I would never go, Wade, shout me out on your channel so I can get your subs. Why? I'd rather work for them. So yeah, just keep on working. The numbers will come, but also understand why you start this. You start this because you're a fan of a sport. Doesn't have to be boxing. If it is boxing, well done. But you're a fan of a sport and you just like talking, and this is it. It shouldn't be a chasing a sub thing early or chasing a number thing. It should just be a case of you want to put content out, and eventually those rewards, if you class them as rewards, will come. Just keep at it. Right. Anyway, look, we're going to get to 50,000 before the end of August. I can feel it. Let's see what there is to talk about today. No AJ Fury stuff, please. Let's see if there's anything else. Crawford, Inoue make boxing even greater than it's been in years. Yeah, it's not just those two, but look, it has been a great year. I think I mentioned this on yesterday's video, like removing the heavyweights, and it's not been the worst year for heavyweights. I mean, we are going to get some good matchups. Like Joyce versus Zhang was a great fight, and we're going to get that one again. But obviously, look, the top table of the heavyweights. So Wilder hasn't done anything. Fury hasn't done anything. Usyk will fight Dubois, but that's not really the fight we want to see. And AJ just fought Helenius, and that wasn't the fight we want to see. So the top table hasn't done anything. But the other weight classes have been very, very good. And Crawford was just the cherry on top of the cake, wasn't he? He was just sensational. And it's like, it's weird how quickly we forgot how good Inoue was against Fulton. Inoue fought Fulton on the Tuesday, and he was incredible. Like, honestly, it was an incredible performance. But Crawford just, it was just magical. Honestly, I've watched that fight back maybe about 10 times. Highlights, another 10 times. I've watched the All Access series about 10. Honestly, I've consumed as much content around that fight as possible. And just watching Crawford in the build-up. Like, I'm actually trying to get Crawford on a Zoom. We have a mutual friend. And I've asked that friend to reach out for me. I'd love just, I don't do these Zoom interview things, but I'd love just to speak to Crawford for 15 or so minutes. I guess I'll find out in a couple of weeks. I think he might have wanted just to press the pause button. He's done a lot of media, so if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I fully understand. I was thinking about Crawford and who next for Crawford. And who next for Crawford changes a lot because of his age. Crawford's going to be 36 soon. Well, it changes a lot because of two things: his age and the fact that Crawford hasn't made top table money for a long time. Like, Crawford is just entering this phase now. I think he made decent money against Avanesian because of the promotion, right? They were chucking money at it. But in terms of that very, very top table, Crawford has not made the money that he made a few weeks ago, and he's going to want to stay at that level, and his age. So that rules out so many fighters. Like, bear in mind, if Crawford was 28 and had made millions, the Jaron Ennis fight could probably happen. Because Crawford's like, I've been eating for a while, let's go. But Crawford hasn't been eating for a while. Crawford only experienced this for the first time. This was the first time Crawford has literally experienced everything he's experiencing now. Like, he did almost a parade the other day, didn't he? He didn't do that when he became undisputed before. He didn't have that kind of love from the fans. He did like a little media thing as well, didn't he? He went on CBS, he went on the Breakfast Club, didn't have that before. So he's experiencing all of this for the first time. And because of that, it is only big fights next. So unfortunately, your Virgil Ortizes, your Jaron Ennises, they're not happening. And I don't blame him for not making those fights. It literally is super fights next. And that's the only thing that is going to keep him hungry and wanting this at 36. That's the only thing. And Crawford, he's about his money, but he isn't about his money. Like, Crawford, I think I saw something with GQ. I don't know if you guys saw it. It's a little YouTube thing. And it was how Crawford spent his first million or something. And one of the things in there was, I bought a house. So he bought a house for his sister. He bought a house, I think, for his mum or something like that. Anyway, it might have been his first 5 million. And he said he bought a house for himself with his first big paycheck. Crawford still lives in that house. He's not all about his money. It's important, but it's not the biggest thing for Crawford. But nonetheless, if there are money opportunities out there, Crawford should be taking them. There are realistically, and actually these are unrealistic as well, a couple of these, I would say 3 or 4 fights that Crawford would want next that make him the big bucks. And I'm talking the big bucks, where you're doing potentially 700,000 pay-per-view buys and upwards. The first one, obvious one, rematch Errol Spence. Now, in the immediate aftermath of that fight, I was like, absolutely no chance. Absolutely no chance. There's no point. But Errol Spence put a rematch clause in there. I think so did Terence Crawford. He wants that get back. Errol wants that get back. He said it in the immediate aftermath of the fight. He's talking to his son in the changing room, and they're like, should we do it again? He will do it again. He will let the mental scars and the physical scars heal. He'll speak to Derek James. He'll speak to his team. And ultimately, he'll look at the number on the piece of paper, and that number for the rematch is going to be pretty juicy. And he's going to say, let's do it again, whether it be 147 or 154. More likely a catch weight of 150. I think that is probably the number one option. Will the fans buy into it? Not sure. I will say this though. When Wilder got absolutely obliterated by Tyson Fury in the second fight, the fans bought into the third fight. We didn't really want to see it, did we? But we bought into it. So there is a scenario where the fans get on board. The other one is Jermell Charlo. Now, this is the one where this would have been 1 trillion % happening if Jermell Charlo weren't fighting Canelo at 168. The fact Jermell Charlo is going up 2 weight divisions, and seeking to become undisputed in another weight class. Look, first of all, if he wins, then there's absolutely no chance of him coming back down. If he wins, him and Canelo will go again, especially if it's a competitive fight. If he loses, I still think there's absolutely no chance he comes back down. Honestly, this guy is a very, very big super welterweight. And if it wasn't for Tim Tszyu, I would have said he would have left that division a year ago. Like, he's become undisputed. You've beaten some good names in the division. But the fact that Crawford is nicking at him and sort of, you know, just digging him. Every interview he can do, Crawford mentions his name. I think Jamel might say, fuck it, let's go back down. Like, Jamel almost might be like, you know what, you beat up my little brother. I don't know the ages. I'm guessing Jamel's a bit older than Spence, but you beat up my little brother. Let's see if you can beat me. I'm undisputed at 154. Let's go. Now, the only way as well that fight makes sense is if Jamel doesn't get completely stripped of all the belts. We'll see, because I know I want to see undisputed versus undisputed. That would be sensational. And you know the way Jamel talks, that fight's big numbers as well. Very, very big numbers. So that's fight number 2. Fight number 3 is Canelo. Doesn't make sense, but it's there now. They're both on the same side of the street. Canelo, we know, has signed this free fight deal with PBC. Canelo has said he wants to fight Jamel, then Jamal. But can Canelo make 158? The reason I say that is because Terence Crawford is like, I will fight Canelo at a catch weight of 158. I don't think so. I don't think there's any way in hell that Canelo can make 158. I do think he might be able to make 160. It'll be hard, but I do think he might be able to make 160. That's a super fight, ladies and gentlemen. That, yeah. If Canelo was to bash up Jamel, Terence Crawford versus Canelo at 160. Jesus Christ. You're talking super fights. Like, when you, like, super with a capital S. That's a super fight. I said the same thing about Spence versus Canelo. Obviously, assuming that Spence was going to beat Crawford. I said that's the super fight. This is a super fight. Like, it doesn't get any bigger than that. Especially, again, if Canelo bashes up Jamel and Canelo's like, all right, let's go 160. And Terence can do it as well. Mate. So look, those are the options. And all those options make Terence big money. And they're big fights. They're big fights for, not just for his legacy, but they're big fights for the fans. The fans will love those fights as well. Like, again, it's been an incredible 18 months for boxing. These are the type of fights that the fans want. And I think there's a few of those that might be catch weights and might be, you know, weights where a fight is out of their comfort zone. But I don't think we mind because there are super fights. And sometimes in order to make a super fight, something's got to give a little bit. And Canelo dropping down in weight, Crawford going up in weight. If I had to pick my dream, it would be Jamel first, just because that's the one, right? Canelo second, Errol third. What do you guys think? Anyway, let's quickly see what else is there. Wilder is coming to send Joshua to the next dimension. Malik Scott, this is from. Matchroom did a really good thing there, that they actually interviewed Malik Scott in the change room after his fight, after he was coaching Gerald Washington versus Chisora, and he's watching the AJ fight, and he's sort of given a running commentary, which was really, really good. And it's funny because you then see his reaction when Joshua gets the knockout. He's like, but I think it's really good. Look, Malik Scott seems to be one of those new trainers coming through that just know the sport, like very intelligent. Obviously, look, this guy had a very, very long unbeaten run as a heavyweight, but just didn't seem to be serious about it all. But as a trainer, I think he's seems to be pretty good. I don't want to judge him too soon, but it seems to be pretty good. But look, again, enough talking about that fight. Let's see if it gets made. Then I think we can get excited about it. Frank Warren, we made offers. There's not been one offer to Tyson Fury this year. Next. Eddie Hearn on Jake Paul, Nate Diaz. It was awful. They wouldn't win a UK area title, but the event was unbelievable. Yeah, there's a bit of truth to that. There is a bit of truth to that. And by the way, the event was unbelievable. It was the third best event I've been to this year. So Errol Terence was number 1. Ryan Tank number 2. Yeah, I'll say that actually. And this was number 3. This was incredible. Like, honestly, the atmosphere in that place. When Nate Diaz walked out, goosebumps. Honestly, goosebumps. I'm a sucker for good atmospheres. I think, by the way, talking of atmospheres, I think the best atmosphere is happening soon when Lee Wood, Josh Warrington get it on. I think that is going to be incredible. I've heard there's only 1,000 tickets left. It's at the Utilita Arena, which I believe is 13,000. So yeah, again, and it's half Leeds, half Forest. That atmosphere, that like the number one atmosphere I've ever experienced in my life, and I've said this to you guys so many times, is Josh Warrington, Mauricio Lara 2 at Headingley. And I was just gobsmacked. This could be better. In fact, it will be better because it's two fan bases going at each other. It's going to be really good. Anything else before we wrap? What's the time? Oh, we need to go. Let's see if there's anything else very, very quickly, though. I did see Joshua Boatsi and Dan Aziz yesterday. They both came in to the TalkSport studios. Boatsi looks so much bigger than Aziz. Like, not just a lot taller, I'd say about 3 inches taller, but just bigger, thick set. I do wonder if Aziz is just on weight already. Like, I don't know how much he balloons up from the 175, and he fought 3 weeks ago? I think it was 3-4 weeks ago. So maybe he's just already on shape, already close to weight, and maybe Boatsi has to trim quite a bit. But great fight that, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic fight. The undercard's starting to look a bit tasty as well. With Lawal versus Chamberlain, them two seem to have heat, which I don't mind, especially if it's real and it's genuine. But yeah, looking forward to that fight. Anything else? I think that is it, boys and girls. We will see you later. Oh, don't go. Remember, we're doing a live on Thursday. Is it Thursday or Wednesday? I said, which one did I say? I can't remember, but I'll double check the video. Wednesday, innit? Tomorrow. We'll see. Peace.